Welcome to a new segment on Green Africa Weekly, African Stock Exchanges, a journey across the financial engines shaping Africa's economic future, one market at a time. We begin with the continent's giant, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. But first, let's zoom out. The New York Stock Exchange is worth over $25 trillion. Nasdaq, around $20 trillion. Now here's Africa. All stock exchanges combined are valued at about $1.5 to $2 trillion, and one country dominates it. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange alone accounts for roughly $1 to $1.2 trillion. One exchange, carrying an entire continent. That concentration tells you everything about Africa's financial structure. Deep in one place, while still developing across the rest of the continent. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange was founded in 1887, built to finance gold and mining. But for most of its history, it operated under apartheid, a system where the majority of the population had no access to wealth. After 1994, that system began to change. But the question is, how much has really changed? Today, the JSE lists around 300 companies. It is home to some of Africa's most influential firms: Naspers, MTN Group, Sasol, Standard Bank. Companies that don't just reflect the economy, they shape it. But to understand the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, you have to understand one company in particular: Naspers, the largest listed company in Africa and one of the most powerful tech investors in the world. Its story is not just corporate. It's historical. Founded in 1915 as a newspaper company serving Afrikaner interests after the Boer War, Naspers became part of the media backbone during apartheid. Decades later, it transformed. From media into a global technology investor. And then came one of the most important investment decisions in modern business history: an early stake in Tencent, a relatively unknown Chinese internet company at the time. That single move reshaped Naspers into a global giant and explains how a South African company became one of the biggest players on the world stage. What's striking is this: Africa's largest company is not built on oil, gold, or minerals. It's built on media, technology, and capital allocation. In many ways, the story of Naspers mirrors the story of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, a system rooted in inequality, transforming into something global, complex, and still evolving. Today, anyone can technically invest, but ownership tells a different story. Black ownership of listed shares in South Africa is estimated at around 20 to 30%. In a country where the majority of the population is black. After apartheid, South Africa introduced processes like the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, an attempt to address the past and build a more equal future. And still today, policies continue to evolve to correct structural imbalances. But progress is not linear. The system remains delicate, balancing historical justice, economic growth, and global pressure. Access is growing, but equality is not there yet.
Discrimination was perpetrated against black people, in particular Africans, colored and Indians. It was perpetrated against the women of our country. May I say, white women were also affected. And what we are seeking to do in implementing the constitutional imperative that is in our constitution is to redress the imbalances of the past. And to do so, the constitution has empowered us to pass laws that are empowering, not racist.
The JSE remains Africa's gateway to global capital. Its scale, liquidity, and regulation make it the primary entry point for international investors. And looking ahead, its role is expanding. Green finance, ESG investing, renewable energy. South Africa's transition away from coal will require massive investment. And the stock exchange will be central to financing that future. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange shows both the strength and the imbalance of Africa's financial system. It is global, it is powerful, but it is not yet fully inclusive. And that's why this journey matters. Next, we move to East Africa, to the Nairobi Securities Exchange. This is Green Africa Weekly, tracking the systems shaping Africa's future. Thank you for watching Green Africa Weekly. Footage in this episode was sourced from CGTN, Reuters, Al Jazeera, DW, First Post, and others under fair use. We're here to bring a fresh perspective on Africa's green and economic development. See you next week.